And today marks a historic turn in Illinois politics. Former House Speaker Mike Madigan, once considered the most powerful man in the state, will be sentenced in federal court.
Prosecutors call his conviction one of the most significant public corruption cases in Illinois history. Let's get to Darius Johnson. He's live at the Dirksen Federal Building. That is where the sentencing is expected to happen this afternoon. Darius, good morning.
Hey there, good morning, Dana and Chris. Mike Madigan led the Illinois House for nearly 40 years and spent 50 years in Springfield. But he now nears the end of a years-long criminal probe and trial that prosecutors hope deters corrupt Illinois politicians that Illinois has become known for. And his sentencing today marks the end of an era for a man who was once simply known as chairman. Now, the government is seeking a 12.5-year sentence, arguing Madigan's abuse of power damaged public trust. The 83-year-old was convicted in February on 10 felony counts, including bribery, conspiracy, and wire fraud. Jurors acquitted him on 7 counts and deadlocked on 6. The case centered on Madigan's ties to ComEd, who allegedly provided jobs and contracts to his allies in exchange for favorable legislation. Prosecutors call it a decade-long scheme rooted in no-work jobs and kickbacks. Federal prosecutors say Madigan built a political machine trading power for personal gain. Back out here live this morning, his defense is really working to try to minimize his sentencing, pushing for probation, citing his age, his health, and also his role as caregiver to his wife as well. They've even submitted 200 letters of support from constituents, nonprofits, and even local leaders around the state who consider Madigan as a public servant. Meanwhile, regardless of those letters, regardless of this push, Madigan will still make his way back here to the Dirksen Federal Courthouse at sometime this afternoon for a sentencing that is expected to happen at 1. Of course, we will be inside. We will bring that sentencing to you live as soon as it happens. For now, we're live in the loop at the Dirksen Federal Building. I'm Darius Johnson, CBS News, Chicago.
Darius, thanks so much. And the question this morning is, how much time could Madigan spend behind bars? To answer that and so many other questions on this big day, we bring in CBS News legal analyst Irv Miller.
Irv, good morning to you. Thanks for being here.
Good morning.
Let's just get right to it. I know that federal prosecutors are asking for 12.5 years. Mike Madigan's defense attorneys want probation. We've seen, other federal convictions play out very differently when it comes to sentencing. For instance, former Governor George Ryan, about 6 years. Former Governor Rod Blagojevich, 14 years. How do you see this playing out?
When the government asked for 12.5, I thought that was very unrealistic. When the defense asked for basically probation and 1 year of home confinement, I thought that was very unrealistic. I don't think the judge is going to go to either of those extremes. I think it's going to be somewhere in the middle. The judge has to follow use sentencing guidelines as an advisory guideline, but he's going to come up with a number that he thinks is appropriate based upon the facts of the case, the deterrence factor, and also has to take into account the age and the circumstances currently with regard to former Speaker Madigan.
And last year, Irv, we were at the Ed Burke trial, you and I, down in the bullpen there at Dirksen Federal, and of course, at that point in time, the judge sentenced him to 2 years. He had a bevy of letters from people all over the community trying to speak on his behalf that kind of his team hoped knocked down, and in a respect, you got a pretty good number too. Do we expect to see that same kind of blueprint at play today?
It worked for former Alderman Burke. It really did.
Yeah.
It really lowered what everyone, including myself, thought would be the appropriate sentence in the case. I even thought that 2 years was appropriate after reading all his mitigation.
Right.
There were 240 letters submitted to the judge for the sentencing hearing today. I have to say that there was quantity, but didn't come near the quality of the letters that were submitted for Alderman Burke. But I do think it will have an effect on the judge, that all these political folks, particularly ones that were on the other side of the aisle, had respect for him about his ability to make a statement and stick to it. He was honest with them, but that doesn't mean that he's going to get a lot off because of the serious nature of the convictions.
To that point, what do you think the impact of, I'm sure you've seen it, but his Mike Madigan's wife Shirley made a video. It was released publicly this week where she talked about how she relies on him for her care. She doesn't know what she would do without Mike, without him. She might have to seek care. You didn't mention the children and how they would help. Do you think that will appear to be sympathetic Or will a judge look at that sympathetically, or could that backfire?
I think both. I think that because of the wife's situation, the judge will take that into account. But in the government submission to rebut that fact, that video, they said the Madigan family is in a unique position that they could really afford the best help in the world to take care of his wife if he in fact is sentenced to the penitentiary. So I think it went both ways.
We'll learn much more early this afternoon. Herb, as always, thanks so much. We'll talk to you throughout the morning, and you'll know the first thing we know because Herb is going to be in the courtroom tracking it for us, and we'll have him with us throughout the day. So I want to continue this conversation. We're joined by Pat Brady, former federal prosecutor, also chaired the Illinois Republican Party until 2012. Pat, good morning. Thanks for being here.
Morning, guys. It's early.
It is early.
Yeah, it is early.
I'm usually just getting home now.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
All right, Pat. You have been, you haven't had an eye on state politics for a really long time, and you still do. In your opinion, given the fact that prosecutors are asking for a 12-and-a-half-year prison sentence, and we've had a lot of political convictions over the past 25, 30 years, and the sentences have varied, what do you think is a fair conviction, considering all of the past?
Well, it's more, I think it's more what the judge thinks is fair. And I'm guessing, I read all the sentencing memos and very familiar with the facts. I think he'll probably get about 4. He's not going to get probation, but he's not going to get 12-and-a-half. And the big determining factor was the loss amount, and they're still debating that because it's tough to calculate the loss amount, which kind of dictates what the sentence might be. But having read all the filings, the prosecution actually lays out their case better than I've seen them before, tying Madigan to the actual legislative action that I think people wondered, what was the quid pro quo? It's pretty clear from the sentencing memo. And then on the other side, you would read through, and he has some fantastic attorneys representing him. It's just not very sympathetic, and he never really accepts responsibility, which is one of the things the judge is going to look for. Everybody, even Rod Blagojevich, had to do a mea culpa at sentencing day. Now, Madigan's going to have an
I was there, if I may, on his sentencing day. I'm not sure you'd call it a mea culpa.
Well, as close as he's going to get.
Okay.
But it's more than Madigan's done, and he'll have a chance. That'll be what will be so fascinating about today's hearing, to see what Madigan actually says, because he's not a type of guy that's used to having to say that, and it's going to be fun to watch.
The fact that we have so many examples to pull from, Blagojevich and Ryan and Ed Burke last year, the message obviously from federal prosecutors is we're trying to snuff out public corruption. Do we think we're getting to the meat of this at all? Is the signal being sent? Is it still going on as robustly as it has for decades?
I don't know if it is or not, but I do think Madigan is unique in that he's the last in the United States of the old-time political bosses. And he was the guy that held himself out as being smarter than everyone. I don't use cell phones. I don't use emails. And he got caught and convicted and is looking at significant jail time. So I think the message is out there. I think the feds give Zach Fart and some of these people that aren't even around anymore credit for starting all this. I think the message has been sent, but there is a lot of corruption here because there's probably too much government here, and there's too much money in government. So I don't think the problem has been solved, but this is probably the most significant prosecution of my lifetime.
So you don't know, though, if this will have any sort of deterrent effect on future politicians. No, seriously. I mean,
I agree.
That's
when you're taking cash in an envelope in a parking lot, you're pretty stupid. Yeah. So I'm not sure if that has necessarily gotten better.
The head of the FBI here in Chicago says they are still full gas on finding cases like this and snuffing them out.
Oh, yeah, and they have to be. We're the center of it. But I do think, again, I think this is the most significant prosecution of my lifetime, and I'm almost 90 this year.
Well, you look good for 90.
That's why I say it.
The Pat Brady skincare line coming up in our next commercial break. Pat, we'll talk to you throughout the day.